Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Bugamalat, and in today's video, I just wanted to give you my review on 2021 boxing. Now, you guys, this was a very exciting year for boxing for me as a longtime fan. Sometimes you fall out of love with the sport for its bad decisions and bad matchups and a whole lot of bad stuff that boxing brings with it. But also, it brings you the good stuff, such as one of the predictions that I made earlier this year on Deontay Wilder 3 versus Tyson Fury. You guys, if you've seen that match, I don't know what you guys think, but let me know in the comments below. I say it was fight of the year. At no point did I think that Tyson Fury could get even better than he had from his first match. From his first match to his second match, there was a big improvement. From the second match to the third match, there was a huge improvement. Now, you guys, on Deontay Wilder's side, there was a lot of stuff that was lacking. There was a lot of stuff that I saw that he did improve on, but he has a long way to go on that. But the one thing that he did show you guys was tremendous heart. He gave as good as he got, although all he really had was that big right hand. So he needs to improve a lot more. Um, Forget about that big right hand because you guys, that big right hand and heart alone, it's only going to get you so far. He needs to get a little bit of boxing skills. But however, to both of them, great fight. That made my year. Now moving on to another prediction that I had made. I'm pretty sure it happened the beginning of this year. I can't remember because it was supposed to happen at the end of last year, which was Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. And that's another prediction that I made. However, I got the ending just a little bit wrong. It went to a decision instead of a knockout. Everybody thought Mike Tyson would knock out Roy Jones. And in one of the commentaries that Mike Tyson made was that, that he could have, but he wanted to go for the full 8 rounds. And you guys, I don't know if that's true or not, and, in a way, I kind of do believe it because, I think Mike Tyson now is a little bit different. He needs to make a little bit of money and he understands he really doesn't need to hurt people the way he had to once to become that champion. Now he could go in there, show great skills as they did in this fight. You guys, this was also one of my fights that I really liked throughout this year because it was nice to see both of them show skill that you just don't see anymore, you guys. So from a skill point of view, it was a terrific fight, you guys. Now, moving on to another fight that I had just recently seen that really man did it for me, was Pitbull Cruz versus Tank Davis, you guys. That was a great matchup, and I'm really excited with those two. Um, because Tank Davis is a good fighter, but I do believe Pitbull was really close in that fight. You know, I'm not saying that he won. I'm just saying you could make an argument for he probably won and Tank Davis lost or whatever, But the point is, Tank Davis won. Okay. And when they asked him if he would give Pitbull that rematch, not only did he say no, he said, fuck no. He would not give Pitbull the rematch. And I don't think that it was because he sucks so much that he doesn't deserve the rematch. I think it was more respectful of a fuck no because he's too good. He might beat me the second match. And if he doesn't beat me, it was just too hard of a fight that I'm not willing to go through again to prove anything to nobody. He feels that he did enough, and that's good enough with him. He has nothing to prove to anybody else, and he's not willing to take the chance, quite honestly, against this kid. Which brings me to something else, which is Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has been calling everybody out, yet hasn't made the matchup with anybody. And you guys, there's so many good people in that division. And, one of the guys that I think is going to be ahead in the division is Haney. Although I do see a little bit of things that Haney could improve on himself. He's not perfect as I thought he was, you know. Um, but anyways, you got him, and then you have Tank, you have Pitbull Cruz in the mix now, which I believe Ryan Garcia. And for Ryan Garcia, I think the best matchup out of all of them, because he's going to have to fight these guys at some point. I think Pitbull Cruz would be the best fight. And then from a source yesterday that I was watching, they had said that that fight was going to happen, and then they say no, it's not going to happen. And you guys, as of right now, I really don't know if it is or isn't, but that's a match that I would like to see coming up in the next year, you guys. I think that would be a great test for both of the fighters, and we're just gonna have to wait on see on that one, right? Um, Another one that I have to mention, you guys, which was crazy, was going back to the heavyweight division, was Anthony Joshua versus the Yusek guy. I really don't know his name. I had never really heard of him before, you guys. I don't know where this guy came from. Well, obviously the cruiserweight division, right? But I had never heard of this guy, you guys. And he comes out and beats my number one fighter, Anthony Joshua. I really thought that Tyson Fury, the way that he fought, I mean, he's shown a lot. And that's the fight that I really wanted to see was Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. But now we got this guy Yusek up in here coming to beat Anthony Joshua. So I'm thinking they're gonna have to make that rematch, you guys. I think they need to make that rematch, and I hope Anthony Joshua could come back like he did against Reese in the second fight and avenge his loss. But you guys, that's gonna be kind of hard because this Yusek guy is he's kind of fast, kind of slick, and all the power in the world is not gonna help you against somebody that could really box like that. Um, so that's gonna be very interesting to see what happens there. And however, you know, I would say you still have Tyson Fury in there. So whoever one of those two wins is gonna have to ultimately face what's his name, Tyson Fury. You guys, and let's just say if it was Usyk that ends up winning and has to face Fury, Fury's just as slick as Usyk. Uh, I don't know if as fast or faster, but he certainly is taller and he knows how to use his range, you guys. He knows how to box in close as well, which makes it really awkward for such a tall fighter to be able to do the outside and the inside so effectively. And I think that's what makes him one of the top heavyweights. And that's what's going to make it hard for either Usyk or Joshua to fight him, you guys. I do believe that at the end of this next year, the 2022, you will see that Tyson Fury is the best out of the bunch. Now, some other little mentions, because there were like little fights that I saw that I was excited for, was Julio Cesar Chaves Sr. He actually came back and made like a little, what's it called, exhibition with none other than Hector Camacho Jr., Hector Camacho Sr.'s son. As you know, he had fought with him back in the day, and that was a very exciting fight. I think, you know what, I believe, I'm not sure, even as they got older, I do believe that they did it again. You guys, it was always nice watching both of them. So to see his son come up into the ring and do this exhibition with Senior was great. Um, I don't know, it was just an exhibition. I think Julio looked good. I think Chavez Jr., not Chavez Jr., Camacho Jr. looked really good. He showed, a lot of respect towards Camacho Sr. as well. So I would like to commend him for that. Yeah, I don't think he was there to hurt him. I think he was just there to show his boxing skill against Chavez's boxing skill and just give us a good fight. And you know what? That was very enjoyable. Speaking of Chavez Jr., okay, well, this guy, whoa, where you go? All right, this guy, man, I don't know. I expected more out of him. I really do think he is a really great fighter. I just really think that he just doesn't want it as much as he should to be a boxer. However, we did have Jake Paul call him out. And, I was thinking, hey, as far as sideshows goes, I think Junior would be a great sideshow fight with this YouTuber, quite honestly, because he just doesn't take boxing seriously, you guys. And quite honestly, if you're just going to make a spectacle out of the sport, what are you doing it for? And if this YouTuber beats you, Chavez Jr., you just need to retire. How is a YouTuber going to beat you? You already had a UFC fighter beat you. And yeah, you came out looking however you came out in your last fight. But quite honestly, you have to show a lot more. And you honestly do have the skill to do it. So I hope you guys get it done. Also, speaking of Jake Paul, I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, so the people that I keep talking to keep saying that, oh, he's not that good, this and that, right? But like I keep telling them, these kids, they're dedicated to whatever it is that they do, not just boxing, you guys. Right now, they're just dedicated to the sport of boxing. They have professional trainers and they're sparring against professionals, supposedly. They're that good. So, how do you bring somebody from the UFC that's been trained in wrestling and stuff like that and put them in the boxing ring? They're two very different disciplines, you guys. If it was just YouTube and stuff like that, why don't they just get into the ring with the UFC fighters? And the truth is that they don't do that, you guys, because boxing is a discipline and they do take that discipline very serious. And that's why they're able to get these wins, you guys. It's not just a fluke. They actually are training and they're training professionally, which makes it dangerous for them to just call out people like this guy that he just knocked out. What's his name? The UFC fighter. Sorry for not knowing his name, but he gets knocked out, you guys. And I knew his name just 2 seconds ago. But this guy gets knocked out with what, like short notice because Fury didn't show up to the fight. You guys, I personally think it's wrong. I think that if they want to continue boxing, they need to do it in a professional level against professional fighters. I think they had their little introduction. I think it went on uh, far enough, and they need to be responsible with what they have learned, you guys. Responsible with what they have learned, and really take it seriously, fight professionally, fight the professionals, you guys. Or, you know what? Even better. You guys have been such big stars. You guys could just go and talk about it, promote stuff like Mayweather, and get other YouTubers in there and let us do this. Well, not me, you guys. I'm too old for this, but I mean, let you guys do this. I love to watch you guys. Now, you guys, let me see what else do we have besides that. I really can't. I really can't think off of the top of my head. We had those Yusek. I mean, nothing really worth mentioning. A few other fights, I guess. Uh, yeah, but nothing really that I would like to mention at this time. However, what I would like to mention is that in 2022, I would like to see what matchups are coming up. Oh, you know what? Yeah, real quick, before I let you go, let's talk Canelo. So Canelo is going up in weight, right? And he's supposed to be facing this cruiserweight champion. And, like he says, I could do whatever I want. And everybody's calling him out on, like, why doesn't he fight Charlo? Let me turn this light on here. Why doesn't he fight Charlo and stuff? Charlo, not Charlo. What Benavides? There you go. That's the one that I want to see, and a whole lot of people want to see that Canelo versus Benavides. And I say, you know what? Canelo's doing his thing. Like like a whole lot of other boxers have done their thing, and they're trying to do what's best for them, you guys, and that is commendable for them. But my question is, if he's trying to do what's best for him, is it really in his best interest to go up in weight so far up into the cruiserweight division? And then who is he going to fight? Is he really going to try to conquer the cruiserweight divisions? That means fight everybody. And if he is, why doesn't he accept that challenge from Yusek? Yusek said he's willing to come back down to fight him. You guys, however, I don't blame him for not wanting to fight Yusek just yet. Like I said, he is a really good fighter. And like I said, Tyson Fury would probably beat Yusek just because he is the bigger, more natural heavyweight. And I think that in the case of Canelo and Yusek, it would be the same thing. Yusek would have that big advantage because he would be the more natural, heavy cruiserweight than Canelo. I think Canelo is a little small in stature. However, that hasn't stopped him any, but I'm just thinking that in the end, as you have seen in many other fights, if you have two good fighters, the smaller one and the long one most likely will lose simply because that's why there's weight divisions, you guys. There's weight divisions just for that purpose. You wouldn't put a little 110-pound man, no matter how good he is, against a full-blown 7-foot tall, 300-pound giant. It's just there's weight divisions for a reason, you guys. But so my whole point was with Canelo was, what does he do afterwards if he doesn't plan to campaign on there and he's looking out for his best interest? Is it really in his best interest to go so far up in weight and then come back down? Because that could affect you guys, as we have seen with other fighters such as Roy Jones Jr. He went up to the heavyweight division and then coming back down to the light heavyweight. I do believe it drained him. Nothing to take away from his opponent. What's his name? Antonio Tarver. I think he was a great fighter. And I think that's what made that Roy Jones fight a little hard for me, because I do know that he was a little bit drained from coming down in that. And then he didn't just face anybody. He faced a great fighter in Antonio Tarver. You guys. So like I said, I'm just really excited to see what happens next year. And another one, Teofimo Lopes. You guys, I that's another fight that I was so excited for. I was a little disturbed with this other guy coming out talking as much as Teofimo, and I was like, well, at least we know who Teofimo is. How is this other guy? God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The Australian guy, but man, that was great. That was so great to watch this guy come into the mix now. And what's going to happen there? What's going to happen with Teofimo? He's going to have to move up. And there was somebody that was, oh, that's right. It was Haney that he was talking to about making a fight. And Haney just had a fight, and he came out of that fight looking good. So hopefully we'll see that in the next year to come, you guys. So there's a lot that I want to talk about, like I said, and their different styles and what they could bring and who could win and who I think should win and shouldn't. You guys, just because I got two right doesn't mean that have had 100 of them wrong. But it's still fun to talk about, and share with you guys. So I hope you guys share with me. Let me know what you guys think, what you guys would like to see. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.